such a great son and wonderful friend. Oh, don't the tears just pour? I could curl up and hide in my room, there on my bed, still sobbing tomorrow. I could give in to all of the gloom, but tell me what for? Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I start to break in pieces? Why should I go and fall apart for you? Why should I play the grieving girl and lie, saying that I miss you and that my world has gone dark without your love? I will sing no requiem tonight. Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I say I'll keep you with me? Why should I go and fall apart for you? Why should I play the grieving girl and lie, saying that I miss you and that my world has gone dark without your light? I will sing no requiem tonight, 'cause when the villains fall, the kingdoms never weep. No one lights a candle to remember. No one mourns at all when they lay him down to sleep. So don't tell me that I didn't have it right. Don't tell me that it wasn't black and white. After all you put me through, don't say it wasn't true, that you were not the monster that I knew. And I cannot play the grieving girl and lie, saying that I miss you and that my world has gone dark. I will sing no requiem. I will sing no requiem. I will sing no requiem tonight. Oh, 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 oh.
Beautiful, Hailey.
Thank
It's
you.
really nice. What have you been working on with this? What have you been working on with this? Like technically, acting wise, like what are things that are like challenges and stuff?
Well, obviously I have allergies right now, so the high part's a little shaky.
Yeah.
But I've been working on really pacing myself to the end, because that U has to be bigger than the rest, and
Yeah.
I tend to get ahead of myself
Get ahead.
sometimes. Yeah.
Cool, good. All right, so what I think, since one of the great things is we have plenty of time to work with everybody. We can spend like 20, 25 minutes and actually dive in deep. So why don't you come over on the other side, and I'm gonna work with her through it from the top. So we're gonna work a little bit, we'll touch on some vocal things and some rhythmic things
Okay.
as well to start.
Yeah.
Okay? So at the beginning of it, can you just speak these words? Why should I play this game of pretend? Speak that.
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Good. Can you speak it as if you're trying to talk to somebody back there sitting near the stained glass?
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Good. Do you hear hear that voice has got a little more chord to
Yeah.
it. But can you try to, so you got into like the middle and it peaked with the amount of chord it had. Can you try to keep it a little bit more steady throughout? Talking back to the stained glass.
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Good. So that's got just a little bit more buzz to it. At the beginning of this, you're right, we want to have room to build up.
Yeah.
But I felt like we were almost getting into singing sounds in here instead of just letting it be you speaking authentically. Okay? So let's try speaking this on pitch. Why should I play this game of pretend? Using that same voice as if you're talking to the stained glass.
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Yeah, how's that feel?
Good.
Yeah, good. Can you take a nice full breath and do it again?
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Good, keep it up.
Remembering through a secondhand sorrow.
Good. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Say sorrow.
Sorrow.
Yeah, we're just gonna let it be bright.
Okay.
Sorrow.
Sorrow.
Say sorrow.
Sorrow.
Yeah, more of that.
Okay.
Just is like starting to fall back.
Okay.
So let's just kind of keep it bright. Speech to start. Remembering through a second hand.
Remembering through a secondhand sorrow, such a great son and wonderful friend. Oh, don't the tears just fall? I could curl up and hide in my room. There on my bed, still sobbing tomorrow. I could give in to all of the gloom, but tell me what for?
Yeah. How does that feel?
Yeah, better.
Okay?
Yeah.
Good. So I want you to switch fingers here on your larynx like this. I want you to swallow. Feel how it kind of goes up.
Yeah.
Can you come back down? Good. I want you to take a breath. Just breathe in. Feel kind of relaxed? Good. Sometimes what I feel like is you start to reach for things and it starts to get kind of bright and it wants to creep up here. I want you to imagine you sipping in an imaginary stringy spaghetti. Go. Feel it kind of relax down a little bit. So let's sing these phrases now, trying to still use that speech, but allowing the larynx to go more towards a sipping spaghetti place instead of a it's high and lock place, okay? We want it to float, so lock it, but just don't let it float as high as it wants to. Okay? So what happens? Why should I play this game?
Why should I play this game of pretend? Remembering through a secondhand sorrow, such a great son and wonderful friend. Oh, don't the tears just pour? I could curl up and hide in my room. There on my bed, still sobbing tomorrow. I could give in to all of the gloom, but tell me what for? I did it like sweet. I felt like when it went up, yeah.
So when we're talking about pacing, what I'm noticing is that she's right. Like when she gets to that high part, it's gonna really, you need to build up to it. And if her larynx is already creeping up in the speech-like section, all of a sudden by the time we get to the high note section, it has nowhere to go. Right? And so what I would do if we were working longer term is help you figure out what we would identify that speaking voice is. Because we don't want her like manipulating and overthinking this, but rather help her learn that, hey, this is my just speech-based singing voice to find the starting place. Okay? When we then get into this, why should I have a heavy heart? We start getting into a lot of more like syncopated rhythms and pop rock rhythms. So come here and look at it for a second. This is what's called a short, long, short. So on the why should I is an 16th, 8th, 16th. It's the entertainer rhythm. It's that. So it's the short, long, short, long, short, long. We're usually leaning more into the long of the short, long pattern. Then you have some of these where you're tying into the next note, which can end up feeling like anticipation. But if we notice here, that 2 8s equals, or 2 16ths is an 8th. So it's 16th, 8th, 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 16th, 8th, 8th. Right? So it kind of gives us a nice syncopated feel to it. So we want to make sure that we bring that up. So we get, why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I have? So it's really into the groove. Okay? Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, and.
Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I start to break in pieces? Why should I go without a curfew?
Yeah, does that feel a little more like into the beat?
Yeah.
Right? So it's a pop rock music. Let's live in that land.
Cool.
Good. All right, do that again. Same thing. And.
Why should I have a heavy
And part of the struggle, I think, comes from microphone technology, okay? When you listen to these Broadway cast recordings, they've taken what's called compression. And compression allows them to say, I don't want this track getting any louder than this. And then once you put that ceiling on it, it allows you to lift up the bottom part of it. So all of a sudden, we can make the quiet stuff louder and the louder stuff quieter. And that really comes in handy on breathy singing, because it allows our breathy singing to seem like it's the exact same volume level as our loud singing, or pretty darn close, all right? Add into that the microphone then adds forward placement to the voice, so that breathy singing sounds more forward. And so all of a sudden, people hear that sound and they try to replicate it with their acoustic voice by squeezing to make the sound. All right? And anytime that we start trying to replicate acoustically what was created electronically, we're going to more than likely run into problems. Okay? So what I'm noticing is that your body's trying to go towards that sound. So all I want to do is kind of open it up. And the easiest way to open it up is think about exhaling and letting it out. She's asking the question, she's saying, why? Right? We don't want to go, why, holding on.
Yeah.
The universe, tell me why, which is, why? Okay? Let's try doing that. Exhale through it. And good.
Have some little sing by more
Sing tongue on your bottom like this. See how more air gets out? Good. Do that again. Just with your tongue out. Yeah. So what's happening is when you make your ah value, your tongue's trying to dig down to the act, right? And so what happens is sound comes up through our larynx, but then our tongue and what's called the epiglottis can start to fold over if we pull our tongue back, and then the air can't get out. And then so that makes us lose that breath sound. So we're going to put your tongue back in your mouth behind your bottom teeth, but what we want to do is now try to feel that it goes more towards an arch. Why? So we don't have any blockage of that airflow. Okay? So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Should I play the grieving girl and
See, so I'll go back a little on that.
saying that I miss you, and then my world has gone dark without your love. Sorry.
Right, does that feel like we leave some
I
tension?
yeah.
Good, okay. So now what we got to figure out how to do is to smooth some of this out a little bit. Why? So you're coming off of a big open mouth sound to let air out, right? If you're going why, you're letting all that mouth, the air out. And then as soon as you go to a should I, well, if everything's big and open, it's just going to blast, and we're going to get more Ethel Merman and less pop singer. Okay? So what we're going to do is that why, and then feel like you get it about that big. Should I play the grieving girl and? So we start narrow and then open up. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why should I play the grieving girl and saying that I miss you, and that my world has gone dark without your love?
Yeah, how's all that?
Good.
Yeah, so you have to connect the dots to it,
Uh-huh.
right? But do you feel that that's smoother? It's starting to smooth it out a little bit, okay? And what I'm a big fan of, and you'll probably see throughout today, is if we can bring it back and get it free, we then can get their body to understand what freedom feels like. Once you establish freedom, you can slowly start amping it back up until we get to the amplitude that they're physically capable of, right? Whereas if we're trying to make the tweaks at your full volume, you have so much breath pressure hitting the vocal folds that this swallow mechanism will often try to creep in, and your body will start trying to figure out, am I swallowing, am I singing, what am I doing? And we get in this fight. Whereas if we can establish it with freedom, when you're exhaling, you can't swallow. So a lot of those swallow muscles let go, and then we can get the body to learn to sing without them, and then as you add volume, hopefully we can teach the body to not let those muscles creep in. All right? So let's do that same thing again, just piecing it together. I want you to breathe as if you were wearing a strap of stress. That was one size too big, and it's about to fall off. All right, so you're keeping everything out, don't let the dress fall off. Here we go.
Should I play the grieving girl and saying that I miss you, and then my world has gone dark without your love? I will sing no requiem tonight.
Yeah, that's really nice. How's all that feel?
Yeah, good.
Good, okay. Let's go to this high note spot. Then we're going to come back to this because there's some other stuff we can tweak through some acting ideas. It starts going because, where's the high stuff? what you're doing. Where's your cup? Where you got the high? Is it there? Yeah, my will. Yeah. Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I keep with me from there? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why should I have a heavy heart?
Good. Remember the
Yeah,
rhythm?
sorry.
So did you hear it? Why should I have a heavy heart? Now she's going to actually get into the rhythm. So why should I have a heavy heart? Let's see how that changes it. She brings it up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I say I'll keep you with me? Why should I go and fall the more for you? Why should I play the grieving girl?
So this overall sounds like it's got a lot of the elements that we want. Does anything feel tight to you?
No.
In there? No. Okay.
No, that's pretty
Good. So what I want to do is play around with some of that same idea that we looked at with the tongue on the soft,
Okay.
and see what happens if we then get the tongue to move a little bit on the bell. So you're going to stick your tongue out. I know, it's fun. We talked about them already. I use a lot of what I call exercise sounds. They don't sound good, but they teach your body to do something different. Then after we learn to do that thing different, then we make it sound good again. Right? So if it sounds hideous, it's my fault.
No, it's okay.
Right? I'm not sure it's good. Okay? So it's just, but I want you to feel like if you were trying to open up enough to like swallow a sword, that everything is just out of the way, right? Put your fingers right here underneath your neck and go, boo, boo, boo.
Goo, goo, goo.
That can't swallow a sword, right? Not right, okay. Now go, ha, ha, ha.
Ha ha ha.
That one can,
Yeah.
okay? Notice what happens with your tongue when you go, boo, boo, boo. Do that. Now go, ha, ha, ha.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you feel the two that not only does it go front to back, but it narrows and then it relaxes wide.
Yep.
So for what you, when we're doing this tongue out, I also want you to think that it relaxes wide and it doesn't pull inwards. So it's ha, 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 ha. Just all out of the way. Right on there.
Like,
One, yeah, just on ah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to swallow a sword. You're gonna learn like this. Everybody else can do this too, and then try to swallow. You can't, right? You can force it. But what happens is you stretch the swallowing muscles enough that they just don't really interfere. So look up, and just go ah, aha. Just make noises. Do it again. Just play. Yeah, right? That's the sound.
Yeah.
If you guys hear how that has less of that tonguey throat sound inside of it, right? So when you're going up to that, trust that. Hi, let's make a bunch of noisy sounds that are free. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. Did you hear that popped open?
Yeah.
Yes, that was the goal.
Yeah.
Let's do that again. Let's get into this. Ha. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want you to put your fingers here, and now we're going to imagine that you're laughing. Go, ha 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 ha. There we go. Good. Ha. Yeah, but that's the singer sound. Can you just laugh? Say ha 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 ha. There you go. You're laughing on pitch. Ha ha. There you go. So now we're just going to drag it up, just making it fun, like it was laughing on it. Ha. Try that. There. That started over.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to go, ha 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 ha. So just laugh through that. Yeah, if you want to try to count a little bit, you're laughing. Ha 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 ha. There you go, right? How do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, right? It's a 7-year-old joke. I got a 7-year-old, so you know we learn all these cheesy things. And now you're laughing. Feel what it feels like?
Yes.
Okay, do that. Ha 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 ha. There. That. Do that again. Good. Now put your words in that same laugh slot. Why should I play the screaming? You just feel like it's laughing through. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Should I play the grieving moment? Saying that I miss you and that my world has gone dark without your love. I felt the squeeze a little on mine, but
Really? Did you feel more focus in there? Yeah. Right? So that's the place where it's starting to lighten up a little bit. Volume 1 to 10, how loud are you?
8.
8? Do it at 7. 6.5 to 7. 1, 2, because the more that you open it up and you get your tongue out of the way, now you don't have to work as hard. Because if I'm having to go why and my tongue's in the back, as soon as I go why, all of a sudden it pops free. Once it pops free, I can then do less work.
Okay.
Okay? 1, 2, 3, and. So overall in here, the last thing I want to touch on is just some of the storytelling stuff. You're making some really good sounds, but they're not always sounds that are 100% connected, I don't feel like, to you and your authenticity. Why are we singing this song?
Like that.
In the show, what's the
So, her brother killed himself, and she's like hearing all these stories about how amazing he was and all the good that he did, but all he was to her was like a jerk, and she was like, I don't get it, I shouldn't be singing, like, I shouldn't be feeling remorse for you, like when you were such a jerk. And
yeah. So in the beginning, why should I play this game and pretend? What's that about?
She's like, why should I act all sad or how everyone wants me to act when in reality he wasn't?
So you're kind of like pushing people away who are trying to support you, right? So this is just simple saying, why should I play this game of pretend? Right? Phrase weighting is a term we use to say where the emphasis is in a sentence. Okay? So I could say, hey, let's go eat, Grandma. That's one set of phrase weighting. I could say, hey, let's go eat, Grandma. It's a very different set of phrase weighting. The phrase weighting makes a world of difference in that sentence, doesn't it? Yeah, right? So as we get into here, it's why should I play this game of pretend? Right now you're kind of doing, why should I play this game of pretend? Instead of, why should I play this game of pretend? So saying what it means. Right on that. 2, 3, and.
Why should I play this game of pretend?
What's that written as?
Pretend?
Yeah, because she's fed up. She's just trying to push people away.
Okay.
Why should I do this thing and pretend anymore? Just be done with it. 1, 2, 3, and.
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Yeah, speak it easily and just say, why should I play this game?
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Good. So simplify. I want you to feel like you don't have to do anything. You just got to tell the truth that's in there. Why should I play this game of pretend?
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Good. Let your voice modulate. Why should I play this game of pretend?
Why should I play this game of pretend?
Good. You make it be that simple. That's on pitch. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why should I play this game of pretend?
There you go.
Remembering through a second sorrow.
Good. This little thing is just a little slide up. Sorrow.
Okay.
And it's just a little pop throwaway. Sorrow. There you go. Remembering through.
Remembering through a second sorrow. Such a great sun and wonderful friend. Oh, down the tears just roll.
Right. Because this all of a sudden, for the first time, you sing more than a quarter time. That's the place that we sing to. Right? It's, oh, don't the tears just pour. I could curl up and hide in my room. There is Suisabi tomorrow. I could give this all of the gloom, but tell me what for? Why should I have that part? And then it intensifies.
Yep.
That's the only place that we really want to sing through it.
Got
Okay? So remember through a second hand. And
Remembering through a second sorrow. Such a great sun and wonderful friend. Oh, don't the tears just roll. I could curl up and hide in my room. Never mind that, still sobbing tomorrow. I could give in to all of the gloom. But tell me what for?
now this intensifies, right? And so I should have a heavy heart. So now we can sing through.
Okay.
Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why should I have a heavy heart?
Good. Ask them. Say, why should I have this heavy heart?
Why should I have a heavy heart?
Good. Can you mean it? Like you really want somebody to say, why should I
Why
be
should I
grieving
have
for
this
this?
heavy heart?
Right? You're basically saying, why should I be grieving for him? He treated me like crap. Say that. Why should I grieve for him?
Why should I grieve for him?
But don't make it feel like you're doing it. Just say it. Why?
Why
should I grieve for him?
Why should I
Why?
grieve for him?
Right. Why should I have a heavy heart? You're just asking a matter of fact question. Why?
Okay.
You treated me like crap. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I start to break in pieces? Why should I go and fall apart for you? Why should I play the grieving girl and cry, saying that I miss you and
some things that you can
And
say
so
in your
watch
own
the
words?
rhythm. Oh.
Watch the rhythm.
Yeah, obviously. And then keep it open instead of pulling my tongue back.
Uh-huh.
So, you can do that.
Yeah.
And then I need to make the words connect to
Yeah. You have to
emotion
figure out what
a
it
little
is to
bit
you,
better.
right?
Yeah.
But even more than emotion is what am I trying to do, right? So I was just having a talk with somebody earlier today where we were talking about how pets, I feel like, are a great example of why we can't act emotion necessarily, okay? So I had a cat who could be quite a jerk. But whenever I would walk in, he would walk up to you and look at you and he'd paw his legs up to you and he'd act all sweet, right? So your emotional response is, oh, he loves me. No, he just wanted food. Anytime he wanted food, that's what he did. His tactic was, I will crawl up her leg.
Smart.
And then your emotional response is, oh, he loves me. I'll feed him. No, right?
Yeah.
He just wants food.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to remember that as you go through here, that
Okay.
we can't just assume what the emotion is necessarily, but figure out what am I trying to do.
Okay.
I'm trying to push the people away from me who are telling me to grieve and say, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Got it.
Whatever that physical response is inside of you is the authentic
Got it.
emotion,
Yeah.
right? But the authentic emotion arises from your desire to act and the resistance that you're receiving from
Okay.
the other. Okay?
Got it.
Awesome
Thank
work.
you so
Beautiful
much.
voice.
Thank
Love
you.
it.